The soft cooes of our 8-month-old son, Leo, used to fill me with a kind of joy I never thought I could feel. But not today. Today, holding him close to my chest, I felt nothing but an unbearable hollowness settling deep inside me. Across the room, Clara sat on the edge of the couch, the one with the faded floral upholstery. Her gaze, once warm and loving, was now locked on Leo, too intense, almost desperate. "Look at our little man," she said, brushing a hand over his fine baby hair. The word "our" caught in my throat like broken glass. It was a word that had once meant unity, family love. Now, it was a cruel joke, a lie wrapped in sentiment. We were in my parents' living room, a place that had always felt like a refuge. Today, it felt like a trap. My parents sat on one side, Clara's family on the other, her mother, father, and younger sister Anna. No one spoke, but the tension in the room was suffocating. It was as though everyone could feel something was about to happen, but no one could have guessed how deep the rupture would go. Clara's fingers fidgeted in her lap. Her eyes flicked toward me. "David, you've been quiet all morning. Is everything all right?" she asked, the edge of nervousness in her voice betraying her calm facade. I looked at Leo, so peaceful, so unaware. That, more than anything, made it hurt. He didn't know. He didn't deserve this. "No," I said softly, and handed Leo to my mother. She took him gently, confusion clouding her expression. I stood, walked slowly to the corner table, and picked up the envelope I had left there earlier. It felt heavier than it should have, like it carried the weight of everything that was about to fall apart. "This arrived today," I said, raising it slightly. "Paternity results." The words seemed to knock the breath out of Clara. Her hand flew to her neck, and her lips parted in shock. She didn't speak. I opened the envelope. The rip of the paper echoed through the silence like thunder. I unfolded the page inside, its clinical text staring back at me like a verdict. Without a word, I handed it to her. She took the paper with trembling fingers. Her eyes darted across the text, and I saw the exact moment she realized the truth had caught up with her. Her lips quivered. Her skin turned pale. The room remained frozen. My mother clutched Leo tightly, glaring at Clara with something I'd never seen before, a mix of betrayal and maternal fury. Clara's father looked stunned, aged, broken. Her mother's sharp gasp was barely audible. And a young, idealistic stared at her sister like she didn't recognize her. After what felt like a lifetime, Clara looked up, eyes shimmering. This can't be right," she whispered. "Oh, it's right," I said, my voice cold and flat. "Leo isn't mine." A heavy silence fell again, this time complete. Clara's world had just shattered, and everyone in the room could feel the tremors. She turned to me, her eyes wide with panic. "David, I swear, I didn't plan this." I didn't respond. I waited. Who is his father?" she asked, barely able to get the words out. I met her eyes but gave her nothing. "That's your question to answer, not mine. And maybe you should start by explaining why you ever thought you could keep this from me," she broke. The sobs came hard and fast, her shoulders shaking, her whole body curling in on itself like she could hide from what she had done. "I didn't mean to. It just happened," she cried. Those words, they were so pathetically familiar, like a line from a bad movie. My fists clenched. "It just happened?" I echoed, the anger rising. "You had an affair. You carried someone else's child. You let me believe he was mine. You let me name him, love him, raise him, and now you want to call that an accident?" The fury in me had been smoldering for weeks. Now it was an inferno. I stepped toward her, voice low and dangerous. "Get your things." She froze. "You're leaving," I said, gesturing to the door, and just like that, the lie we'd lived for nearly a year collapsed under the weight of the truth. Her eyes widened, a blend of shock and fear sweeping across her face. "Where am I supposed to go?" she asked, her voice cracking under the weight of panic. "I don't care," I replied, my tone stripped of all compassion. "And take him with you." I nodded toward Leo, who was squirming restlessly. In my mother's arms, Clara's voice trembled. "But David, he's just a baby." "He's not my baby," I said, each word laced with ice. "He's the consequence of your betrayal. I don't want either of you in this house." Silence swallowed the room. Our parents stood frozen, faces slack with disbelief. They had no idea how deep the wounds went, how thoroughly her deceit had hollowed me out. My decision was final. I wanted them gone. Clara, realizing she couldn't change my mind, began hurriedly gathering her things. hairs falling freely now. Her sobs turned frantic, but I didn't flinch. Even as my mother, clearly shaken, handed Leo back to her gently, I felt nothing. A flicker of hesitation tugged at me, but I crushed it. He wasn't mine. I was done living a lie. As she struggled to secure Leo in his carrier, I moved to the front door and swung it open wide. No one said a word. Her sisters and parents stared blankly, unable to meet my gaze. To them, I had become unrecognizable, a man they no longer understood. That didn't matter to me. Clara stepped out, her face pale and broken, and I shut the door behind her with a sharp, echoing finality. My parents approached, their faces lined with concern. "David, are you sure this is right?" My mother asked, her voice soft and heavy. "I've never been more sure," I replied calmly. "I'm taking my life back." I didn't wait for a response. I left them standing there, got in my car, and drove off, my path clear. There was one more thing I needed to do: face the man who had destroyed everything I thought I had. I drove straight to the gym. He was there, in the weight room. The moment I saw him, every ounce of anger, every sleepless night and bottled up rage, surged to the surface. I confronted him. Words were exchanged, sharp and bitter, and then fists. I beat him down until he was nothing more than a bleeding reminder of what I had lost. When I was done, I didn't run. I drove myself to the police station and turned myself in. The days that followed blurred into courtrooms and legal documents. I pleaded guilty and accepted my sentence. While I waited for the verdict, I began to hear about the ripple effect of what had happened. Clara had become a social outcast. Her affair was no longer a secret, it was gossip on every corner. Her employer let her go. Friends distanced themselves. Even her family struggled to face the disgrace. The man she had chosen over me didn't fare any better. His world crumbled, reputation shattered, career in ruins, promises broken. Clara tried to reach out. Letters, phone calls, messages through mutual acquaintances, each one a plea for forgiveness. I ignored them all. I had nothing left to say to her. The thought of Leo haunted me occasionally. There were moments when his face would flash in my mind, and for a second, I'd falter. But then the memory of betrayal would rush back, and I knew I could never truly see him without reliving that pain. I left them both behind. I served my time. And when I walked out of prison, I didn't look back. I relocated to a new city, took a fresh job, and slowly began piecing myself back together. The process was painful. The rage still simmered, but I sought help. Therapy became a lifeline. My therapist peeled back the layers of bitterness and helped me remember who I was before the storm, someone who had once been kind, loyal, and capable of love. I began to heal, and somewhere in that healing, I met someone. It happened in the quiet of a local bookstore. Her name was Anna, not the Anna related to Clara, but a different woman entirely. She had a warmth that disarmed me, a wit that caught me off guard, and eyes that sparked when she talked about her favorite novels. We started chatting, and with time, something soft and unexpected grew between us. She never pried. She listened when I spoke and never pressured me to explain the scars I carried. Slowly, I allowed myself to fall for her. She wasn't like Clara. There was no manipulation, no games, just quiet understanding and honesty. After a year, I asked her to marry me. She said yes. Our wedding was small, surrounded by only those who had stood by me when I had nothing left. It felt right. Not long after, we welcomed our son. We named him Liam. He had my eyes and Anna's brilliant smile. Holding him in my arms, I felt something I had long thought I'd lost: the pure, unshakable joy of being a father. I looked at Anna and saw everything I had ever wanted but never dared to believe I could have. Eventually, our family grew again. We had a daughter, Lillian. She brought laughter into every corner of our home. Our lives were simple, but full. No more secrets, no more pretending. I never erased Clara from my past. That pain became part of me, but it didn't define me. What defined me was how I rose from it, how I chose to build something better. As I watched Liam chase Lillian through the backyard, their laughter ringing out like music, I knew I had found my peace. Not because of revenge, not even because of justice, but because I chose to live again. Because I found love after devastation. Because, after everything, I still believed in happy endings, and this time, I had mine.